All right. We are officially live on the Facebook universe. So I'm super grateful for everyone that has decided to join us, or anyone out there on Facebook who's tuning in, or in the future from now, any YouTubers out there who might be watching this. But as we wait for others to join, I'm just going to read for you all of you out there, the event description and how this came into being and where we're going to go with this. But it's definitely up to you all. You all will be shaping the series. So, after gathering weekly around the book, Creating a Life Together, Practical Tools for Building Ecovillages and Intentional Communities, a group of us decided to continue to gather on Zoom for a spin-off series, and we invite you, multi-generational changemakers, to join us. We'll continue to learn about solving for the basic needs of food and shelter, but through storytelling, sharing our loftiest dreams and most fantastical futures. We'll paint the future we want to step into in all its intricate and over-the-top dreamlike detail, developing a narrative that will take us through a new world we're creating in real time. We'll invite you, permaculture, sustainable construction experts, community building experts, activists, and friends to share your visions. Let's marry what we're doing with what we envision. Our episodes will be uploaded to YouTube a few days after each session. And why is this important? It is becoming abundantly clear that we are cogs in a wheel of a broken machine, and it is up to us to design the future we want to pass on to future generations. Here and now, there are hungry people waiting in line for food, and more people becoming houseless. Through active, sometimes fictional foresight, we have the power to shape the future we want, unbounded by the constraints of the modern world. Through visioning around topics like sustainably growing food, building shelter, cultivating community, and living in harmony with our surroundings, we will get closer to manifesting the regenerative community future of our dreams. This event is produced by the Creative Zone and Scott Guzman in collaboration with the Human Unity Movement International, Shamanism for the People, Anna Martin, Natalia Katz, and Sid Harvey. That's me. The Creative Zone is a radically inclusive community that gathers to connect, create, heal, and self-express. We are anti-racist in all we do and do not tolerate hate language or discrimination against Black, Indigenous, and people of color. Please message me or any other host of this event to report any behavior that does not reflect these values. And finally, like I said, I'm Sid, founder of the Creative Zone, and my role today is to support you throughout this series and to support our features. I'm here to help you in getting your questions answered and help you in sharing your dreams. I'll also make sure that we get you the link so that you can watch this in the future on YouTube if you'd like, or if you want to share it with your friends. And I think on that note, we can get into it. Welcome everyone who's on the Zoom. Welcome everyone who's on Facebook Live. And I'd love to start, if Scotty is okay with it, I'd love to start by introducing you, as you inspired a lot of today's event, a lot of the event description because of the work you do. So Scotty, if you want to give me a thumbs up that it's okay for me to get going introducing you before you lead us in a meditation. But essentially, I'm going to read a brief intro on Scotty, and he will begin guiding us in our first visioning series, which will actually shape what we do as a part of this Utopian community storytelling series. So if you're all ready, just give me a thumbs up, and then I will begin. All right, sweet. Okay, so Scotty. Scotty is a passionate individual, passionate about reshaping our relationship with the land, with each other, and with the cycles of energy that drive our society. This is manifested in community organizing, inner healing work, spiritual openness, permaculture design, alternative energy science, bicycle magic, and at the heart of it all, compost. Scotty has been collecting compost, leading compost workshops, and helping people set up home-scale worm bins and compost systems for the past 10 years. Although there was a distinct moment in June of 2016 when it became clear, all in an instant, that he was meant to work with trash, being appointed as one of Swami Mommy's garbologists at the National Rainbow Gathering in Oregon to preach the gospel of the 7 chakras of garbage yoga and implore gatherers to take up the sacred task of sorting trash into 7 sacred elements of garbage yoga: compost corresponding to the heart chakra. And now Scotty is in the final phase of launching a compost cooperative in Maine with 5 other folks in an effort to reduce the amount of trash going into the incinerator and turn it into black gold. They will divert organic matter from the waste stream and have worm bins and bulk compost piles to convert this trash to treasure. In an effort to increase compost awareness, they'll be setting up community gardens, public food forests, informational YouTube series, and doing educational worm bins in schools. Finally, this is all part of a big picture plan to identify where impact is harmful and to dream together for how to bring harmony to strained relationships on a global scale. So thank you guys for bearing with me through that intro. Please feel free to engage with the rest of the community here on Zoom through the chat. I did post a little exercise to share what you're hoping to learn, what you'd love to contribute, and any relevant resources, websites, books that are related to this subject matter. Thank you everyone so much for joining us. What's up, Scotty? Whenever you're ready to guide us, he's going to reel us in and set the tone for our visioning series. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sid. Appreciate that. Welcome, y'all. I'm here with Dustin Rosada. How you doing, guys? Dustin leads our Monday morning meditations, and we're up here at Nomad Retreat Center where Sid and I actually met. I just arrived, so it's a little interesting coming in right at 4, so glad we made it. So now, to ground us, I'd like to invite us all to come to a place of comfort wherever you're at, sitting upright if you can, or whatever feels right. And to start a visualization of the earth beneath our feet. We're probably all inside, but we can imagine the earth beneath our feet.
The tone for our visioning series.
Together, I invite us to collectively enter into a lucid dream space where we will all essentially spend a moment to dream with our conscious mind of the future that we want to create. And that can be anything. It could be whatever your subconscious maybe can come up with, or your conscious mind. And just imagine what you would like to co-create with us. So the visualization will start in the earth as this potent life energy that carries up as a beam of light through our feet, absorbing every cell in our body, up through the crown of our head and up into the sky, and through the interwebs to all of you. And now all of our collective light, imagine swirling and interweaving and creating something. And now I'd like to invite us to allow that to set the stage for what we will dream together. So let's take a moment to silently just close our eyes and dream whatever it is that we could see for the future. And after about a minute or so, we'll come back and do a popcorn style sharing of what came up for us in the dream. So if we're ready, we'll go ahead and settle into where you're at. Start to dream. And if something came up, that's great. And if nothing came up yet, that's okay too. Maybe as we get started now, as people start to share what their aspects of their dream, or maybe a little just a small aspect or dynamic that they recognize, maybe something will come to you from just other people share. So I'm hearing a dog sharing their vision. Anyone else would like to share?
Yeah, I'd also love to just give people a chance to share in the chat if you'd like before sharing verbally what you're hoping to learn and what you'd like to potentially share. Also, I did share this in the event description that there are a few topics of interest amongst this group shared by you or other individuals, which include sustainable community living, gardening, education, events, food, alternative structures, renewable energy, spirituality, healing arts, communication, relationship structures, politics, and more. So literally, as Scotty just said, feel free to unmute yourself and popcorn it, like whatever comes to your mind. If the first thing that comes to your mind is smoking weed with your friends, like it doesn't matter. And I bring that up because that was a big part of my journey, was I opened my heart up to being guided by cannabis plant spirit, and it prompted me to start an artist residency in Chinatown, Boston, and now I've made friends who are doing incredible things. I met Malou of the Human Unity Movement, who is a partner of this event, and so many others. So whatever you feel like sharing, feel free to unmute. Feel free to share whatever is on your mind or in your heart. And this is really like, nobody has to share anything at all either. You know, just being together, just seeing who chose to show up today is enough. So.
I love the invitation. Thank you, Sydney. I saw, well, I immediately had a vision of running water and regenerative farming. And I almost feel like I would want to paint that. It was a very visual experience. But also the first thing that came up was a place where people are motivated by potential and joy and sustainability as opposed to shame. That comes up for me a lot, and I think it's a fundamental change that a lot of the people in the sort of new world that's rising right now that are participating in that visioning and that creation. I think a lot of us come upon this, that we've been trained to produce, we've been trained to feel shame when we can't produce, and that we're really sort of intimately linked with a Pavlovian emotional response when it comes to building community or getting anything constructed or made or, you know, producing anything really. And so my heart saw a situation where people were really just motivated by complete and utter inspiration. And if someone was having a day that wasn't a participatory day for them, that's okay, you know, and that they're still supported and that there's sort of a sense of unconditional care. And I'm gonna cut myself off soon because I could keep going, but there's a danger there because we are all trained to work via shame. So if we pull that rug out, then I mean we still have to get things done, right? So then my thought pattern, my vision sort of went to being in a place where people were really inspired and connected enough to continue efforts on a daily basis without a need to be proving themselves or earning love or anything like that.
Wow.
That's what came for me.
Thank you.
I really like that the shift in motivation, you know, for why someone would be motivated, you know, instead of motivated by fear or pressure. So thank you for sharing that, Melvin.
Hi, my name is Gwen, and I'm a gardener, and my grandmother. I learned how to garden with my grandmother, who immigrated here from Italy, and she came up through the Great Depression, and they were very poor when they came here to the United States. And my great-grandfather immigrated here as a gardener, or garden labor, as an estate laborer, to be exact. And I know in the 1940s, he was listed as a gardener in the census. And so apparently this gardening thing has been in my blood for a long time and through different generations, but the family that I was born into didn't really want me to know that. And so I began to gravitate towards that quite naturally with my grandmother. And so for 32 years now, I've been a single mom. And I don't know how I could have saved any money or fed my family healthfully and safely if I didn't grow my own food. What I discovered over time in the first early years of my single parenthood was that I didn't have to dig the soil all the time. I could just put stuff on top of it and things would grow really nicely. Another thing I began to notice was that if I forgot to till it or I just left it alone, the following spring I would see things coming up that were not typically supposed to come up. And so I began to experiment that way with tomatoes and other things. So then over time, I had such a productive garden that people in the neighborhood who worked nearby began to be accustomed to me leaving my food out on the front of my porch there on my patio table. And so they would come by and just take it. And I loved that. It was tremendously rewarding. And my children grew up that way. We spent a lot of time in the garden, learning about soil science, how it all works. And so my entire life I have composted. And so now I moved to Western Massachusetts and I found out that the way that I garden has a name and it's called something. And so that has been an incredibly wild and exciting and just exuberating experience for me to connect with people who I have things in common with and who are on the same path. I have always known that I was on a path with Mother Earth since I was a little girl. And so that's always been my path. And I've often fought against the machine, if you will. And so now I actually have a composting situation that I've started initiating and trying to inspire people to aspire to in a community garden where I live. And also I have a vermicomposting setup in a little worm farm happening in my house. And it's really great because actually people have been coming to me and asking me and reaching out and wanting worms. And so that's awesome. I'm ready to start throwing together some kits or any way that I can just plant the seed, you know. So that's moi.
That's beautiful, Gwen. You're inspiring me quickly to reiterate or to kind of piggyback off of you in a dreamlike state. So my dream is for a community to exist like yours, Gwen, like what you're doing, for scarcity to not exist, for us to realize that we have everything we need if we do it together, and where we can pluck tomatoes and pick worms from each other's front lawns, and where we can learn from each other by just coming and hanging out and whatever. So anyone, feel free to popcorn and share your journey. Yeah, that's it.
Growing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, with black gold.
There we go.
We're faced with like two major myths or lies that we've been told pretty consistently, and one of them is a lack of abundance. Right? We've been taught that there's not enough, and that's still to this day not true. We don't do a great job distributing the resources on the planet, but they are there, and there currently are still more than enough for the world to eat and be clothed and have a warm shelter, right? So that myth is that pushes us and drives us to get up and go to jobs we hate and stuff like that. And then the other myth is of disempowerment, right? So when I hear you talking about, Gwen, sorry about that. When I hear you talking about the work that you're doing in your own backyard and how that's affecting your community positively, that's it right there. And if you listen to some people who have been in the activist community for a long time and have gotten burnt out, due to no fault of their own, but or if you listen to a lot of people in sort of the day-to-day regular world out there, they will tell you that those little efforts are meaningless, or, what are you going to do with one compost pile? Well, nothing happens for good or for worse unless a lot of people do it. And every single time someone's composting in their backyard, we have more compost and less carbon, right? And every single time someone decides to say, I don't want to participate, I would rather just live the sort of shame-based, greedy life that has been pushed upon me by our society, things get a little worse. And no single one of us is going to be able to make that a lot better or a lot worse. We have this much to contribute, and we each have that much to contribute. And so every single time I hear anyone doing that work, it's so inspirational. And don't forget that you are joined by a network of people all around the globe who feel the same way. And that if any single one of them said, I don't feel like it anymore, then things get a little bit less awesome. And every time someone says, I really think this is great, I want to share it with someone else, and they take it on, things get a little bit better. And that's the road. That's the whole thing. So avoiding those myths of disempowerment and of a lack of abundance, right? And realizing we are absolutely abundant. We have everything that we need to exist and be okay, and we can take care of each other that way when those things aren't available. And at the same time, realizing that our decisions on a day-to-day basis are the only power, right? They also are collective. We have to bring those things together. But thank you. That was really inspirational to hear.
Thank you, Malu. I would like to invite Andrew. He raised his hand to contribute. And then after that, we have Anna. So anyone, feel free to just raise your hand with the Zoom function, or you can write in the chat. Andrew, please, go ahead.
Yeah, sure. Hello, everybody. Some of you, we did that little dream brainstorm at the beginning. Some of you have heard my dream before, but I figured I would share it with a larger group here. Yeah, my 10-year plan, we're currently in year 3 of 10, is to create a cooperatively owned piece of land where on this land would be living quarters, sustainable or renewable farming, and an alternative to a mental hospital. So a space where people can come and people can use insurance to come and do some really traditional, or well, not traditional, can use insurance to do mental health work in a less traditional setting, in a less traditional lens, through nature therapy, art therapy, music therapy, dance therapy, drama therapy, meditation, yoga, farming, all of that stuff in a mental health setting, but not just for people who are I have a mental thing that I want to work on, and also have it be a space for just rejuvenation or life coaching work, so that you have people who are paying out of pocket to do more sort of Kripalu-esque type stuff without quite as much corporateness to it, but then alongside or happening in parallel or together with that rejuvenation or life coaching, life working kind of stuff, you also have the more healing, growth, past-based stuff. So all that stuff sort of happening together simultaneously, so that the people who are doing the healing work might, someone who's just there for rejuvenation, that, some of that healing work might kind of rub off on them too. And someone doing the rejuvenation work, that might rub off on the healing work. And then someone doing healing work might get a little bit of the life coach, future-oriented stuff within that mix as well.
Wow.
So yeah, that's the dream for me, is to sort of get all of those energies happening together, in a place that's not too far away from, away enough that it can be in nature, but close enough to a major city that it's accessible to the general public.
Wow.
I don't want this to be a thing that just happens it's like a commune that's like happening over there, and like, oh, we're separate from society and doing our own thing.
Right.
No, I want this to be a thing where there's movement back and forth, so that it's like still fully connected with the larger community and society, and helping to create, you know, positive change beyond just that space. So that is my dream. I'm just about done with grad school. I'm in like finals mode right now, so I'm a little bit screened out. So I'm going to go back to having my screen off. But thanks for listening, and I look forward to hearing more of the shares.
Thank you. Anna, tell us.
Hi, Sid. Hi, everybody. I always love hearing about your dream, Andrew, because it's very similar to mine, and it always just like gets me excited. I have been dreaming about different types of community projects and involved in different types of community projects quite a bit over the last, I guess I'll say like 3 to 5 years. That is what drew me to the creative zone, where I met Sid, and I think there's a lot of crossover between the dreams that folks have here. So Scotty, like his composting situation, like all of it feels really connected for me. And like, I think that there's just so much potential here. My dream, is basically everything. It's basically everything everybody else already said. But what I want to say is that I have been working at like this this nonprofit, volunteering my time, basically like getting my hands in the dirt and in the snow. I've been up on scaffolding this past week, building a greenhouse, actually starting to manifest some of the projects that we were talking about here. Somebody's talking about Shanti's talking about mycelium. Oh, and Sid too. Yeah. So this place that I've been working has also, like Scotty, we get mushroom compost donations, and we're building like this permaculture food forest. It's in the Hudson Valley in New York State, and we basically have no budget. Everything that we do is just based off of like the sheer like willpower and like dedication and love of like the very skeleton crew of people that we have on site. But this place is looking to grow. It's looking for more people. It's looking for exactly what seems like there's a lot of people in this Zoom room are looking for. And I'd love to just invite people to either join as membership for a year is $38, and it like every penny goes really far for us. And I don't need to be asking for money. That's not the point of this. But just more support, more ideas, more community. We just really want to grow and find like-minded people who have the same goals of having like a regenerative agriculture. And, you know, we're trying to do different things with compost and build gas digesters, and we need a new well, and we want to I don't know if anybody's heard of this technology that like pulls water from the air. It's I can't remember the name of it, but we're basically going to be trying to just like install all of this technology to help us compost and create like regenerative agriculture and all of that good stuff. And
Love it.
Talking to more people who share dreams with me always helps me get through some of the challenging times, because we have those too. And it's hard to stay motivated when things are going awry. But y'all inspire me, and I'm really grateful to be here talking to you all. Thank you for putting this together, Sid and Scotty.
Thank you
and
so
everybody
much.
else.
Thank you for living a life of example, Anna. And I want to pass it off to Coleman if you're still wanting to share. And then next we have Cheryl.
Hi, thanks for putting this together. I have a lot to say. I think this is the best group to say it to. For about 2 years now, I've been working on a project called the Thunderdome, and it's a place where all these ideas come together, but not just fitness, or not just farming, not just food, not just soil, not just healing and health and wellness and spirituality, but also fitness. The one person that I work with that I'm partnered with a couple people now, but one person I'm partnered with does fitness in a way that I've never seen before and combines it with spirituality and yoga. And I would highly recommend that everyone at some point gets a workout with him, but that's besides the point. We're basically confirmed. We have confirmed with a farm to lease land from them, and we're working on fundraising for a dome. But we're going to put up a structure and then do regenerative agriculture on that farm. We have about an acre, and then we're also going to combine it with a food cafe. I'm partnered. I brought my sister on board, who worked as an executive chef at a restaurant group in Boston for about 8 years. So she knows anything and everything from taking a pig and gutting it and taking every part of that pig and using it, and anything from composting and using every part of everything for food, and reusing things and making things reusable. And where basically, my dream is to manifest this into a reality by springtime, and keep it going and make a blueprint for other people to have this structure. We are looking to expand, not only just to this farm, which is it's going to be in Millis, Massachusetts, it's on the Norfolk line. But we have a couple of other farms interested in collaborating. And basically the idea is to prop up local farms and generate revenue and income for them. So we have a profit share with those farms to help them. And we want to throw events, eventually music events, and bring in fundraising. Another aspect of our whole program is fundraising. We have this program that we started that's actually been a huge success, called eco-friendly fundraising. And it's basically selling tree saplings and seedlings to sports teams all around, high school football teams, high school soccer teams, whatever, just to increase the amount of trees in the area. Literally do it all over the country, at some point. And then let's see, where else was I? But yeah, there's a lot that I want to manifest and grow into this. I definitely want to get everyone here's contact information. I'd love to stay in contact and have an idea of what everyone does, and potentially call on you to help or to come collaborate. We want to use the space as a very cheap place for someone to come in and have a class of any kind, literally sign up sheets, and all you have to do is pay 10% or a flat fee. We're willing to negotiate to help you create a brand and create a business within this community. So anything from sound healing to fitness to teaching piano, whatever it is.
Yes.
So we're working hard, and we've got a Kickstarter coming up this July, or not this July, just January. We've got a website coming up, and
I've taken Jimmy's fitness class. What's the company called?
Three-Eyed Tiger.
Three-Eyed Tiger. Yeah. So I'll be sending an email with this information, but I can speak from experience. It was an incredible class.
So he's come a long way since.
Cool.
There's this fitness Instagram company that don't just come from Instagram, but there's this fitness company that combines sacred geometry and ancient geometry with fitness, and it's a different aspect of fitness than I've ever seen. And it out of all the testimonials that have come through, no injuries, and it'll fix your hip, it'll fix your back. If you're fucking 80 years old, you can still use it. It doesn't matter.
Nice.
It's combining natural motor patterns and firing through geocentric motion like through your body. Like it's supposed to be natural. It's supposed to feel good. And this type of stuff is going to be like daily at the Thunderdome. Like we're going to bring people in 25-minute workout, and you're going to feel great coming out. And then you'll get a smoothie on the way out that's like super healthy, you know? Like
Beautiful.
and like membership stuff will be like super cheap and like inclusive. So all this stuff is happening, and we're working on it hard, and we want more people to be involved and collaborate. And we're going to do like a big event, or hopefully like when COVID chills out, have a big event and have people come by and network and you know.
I'll be there.
My sister's going to cook. It's going to be
amazing.
Outrageous.
It's so cool how many of our dreams are actually starting to unfold already.
So thank you all for letting me share.
Thank you.
Definitely, if you're interested, I'll put my email in here. Please reach out. I'd love to hear more about every one of you individually. Just send me a paragraph, or I'll listen here as well.
Thank you so much.
Let me know what you're about, what you want to do, how, if you want to help be part. I think we're all, even Anna, like we can connect somehow and make it, you know, like we can figure it out. Oh, also there's like a whole soil aspect to this thing that I didn't even mention. We're partnered with this company called Kingdom Aquaponics that is run by this guy named Leighton Morrison, who he's like the #1 microbiologist in the country. Like he was doing stuff in Humboldt County like 10 years ago, regenerating soil. He uses he gets like fish fertilizer from the aquifers and like introduces that into these fish cakes that he like injects into soil and like creates it, like to have it like combine and expand on itself. And eventually that's the goal, is to be like completely organic and like more than organic, you know, like because organic's got all those certifications that you got to go through, and it's not even, this will be like better than organic. But yeah, anyway,
Thank you, Coleman.
I think I hit everything.
Perfect. I'd
I'll
love to pass it over to Cheryl.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Cheryl, and I'm happy I read about this gathering today through Sid, and inspired by hearing all of these ideas already. I am not offering any program at this time. I think I am dormant and in transition right now, but dreaming, looking to dreams like these. I've been listening to educator and activist Sherry Mitchell up in Maine, and she has a website where she is talking about environmental justice, social justice, so a lot of things that are important, as I hear in this forum, and in getting people to get together and activate as well. My background is in psychology and education, and more recently in community arts and healing arts. And you know, when I heard the invitation to sit for a few minutes in guided meditation and imagining here, I could imagine myself and other beings kind of interconnecting with these large, beautiful rising plants all around with a lot of color. And so the thought is for helping people to feel more connected and in love with the earth and all that it provides and grows for us, and to help people with the disconnect that is often felt these days to the earth, and by providing perhaps educational programs, perhaps farm and education programs in city and in rural places as well, but getting larger groups of people of all generations in touch. And in particular, what I'm thinking also is the group of young people, children and school-age kids, also to feel this deep love and to feel our interconnection and interbeing and need to work together and grow together. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Cheryl. I appreciate you. I also wanted, Rhodes, did you want to share something? Oh.
No, agreeing
Okay.
with what Cheryl said, that's all.
Oh, nice. Thank you. I'd also love to introduce Ethan, as he's been an inspiration behind many of my events and just a wonderful mentor to me and a healing artist himself, a nature enthusiast. So I'll let you take it away, Ethan.
Thanks. Thanks, Sid, and nice to virtually meet everybody here. I think it's kind of, feel like we're at this place in the pandemic where we're all getting really good at these digital environments and now maybe beginning to kind of get some of the real benefit of connecting over geography and space and time. I really have I've really resonated with lots of the things that you guys are suggesting, that people have introduced themselves doing. I actually think I had heard the soil guy on a future cannabis podcast within the last couple days, actually. I think Morris Layton. Quickly, what I do, Sid and I met because I had a collaborative cannabis grow in the Creative Zone in a room there. For one nice thing about Massachusetts is we can grow 12 plants at home legally. So I got together a group of people and experimented in a co-op fashion how we raised these plants. Also, an art curator that focuses on public art, site-specific public art. I'm putting together a little public art collective here in East Boston, where I live. Want to do some sort of campfire or potentially like a fire festival at some point this winter here. So I'm trying to put that together. And I love public art and working on those projects. I'm also putting together a media co-op, a media production co-op, which is going to be a documentary film company, organization. It's going to work in the cannabis space. Because before I did public events and event design, I did filmmaking. And I'm currently just completely excited by the idea of living soil, and everybody from, having people who are leading in the compost movement and otherwise is really exciting. So I'm here I'm somebody who kind of loves to do lots of different things. I was listening to this podcast this morning about the Stoics, and it's actually kind of inspirational. The phrase was, "Do what you can with what you have, where you are." So I'm absorbing that message too, because small things have big impacts, and I think Malu, you were mentioning this idea of vibrations, and I do think we're at a consciousness raising time, and excited to be part of this. Last thing I'll share is Sid and I have been talking with a friend of mine who has some land in Martha's Vineyard, and she's interested in doing healing retreat, some agriculture potentially. So that's just another, if you hear about us talking about that, I'm just putting that on, another possible destination for people to visit and be a part of this network. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Ethan. I wrote Homegrown Boston on Instagram. Is that the best way for people to stay tuned?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Homegrown Boston is great. I can put my
Anyone, feel free to
email
chat.
address in, but I'm open.
Perfect. Philip, would you like to share something? You are muted. Yeah. Oh, I think I muted you. Do you know how to unmute yourself? No? There should be a nav bar or some buttons that you can press to toggle to unmute yourself.
Lower left-hand corner, yes.
Oh, I also missed Galia. Galia, oh, there we go.
Hey.
After Philip, you're up. Okay, go ahead. How's it going?
Okay. All right. First off, I'm really inspired by what everyone has said so far. It gives me a lot to work with, I guess. Let's see, compost. I'm into that. I'm into no-till. I just started no-till this year. But more significant is actually because we've been talking about like the physical side of things, and I'm thinking about so this is about utopia. So my idea of utopia is something that's like completely spontaneous, rather than like something like it's the most natural thing. It's not. It's like the reason why we don't live in utopia is because it's, for whatever reason, it's just so hard for humans to be natural. And I think utopia is built into us the way that birds' nests are built into birds, and that they have this like spontaneous desire and instinct to just like create these things. And I think the reason why we're even here talking about utopia and why we feel drawn to it is something inside of us, something biological almost. And so utopia for me is a physical thing, and it manifests in a physical sense in terms of like abundance, sustainability, sort of harmony. But it's also like an inner ecosystem and like a way of relating with other people. And I suppose that's like maybe that precedes all the other things anyway. So maybe if like collectively we could just fix the disconnection from ourselves, maybe that would just open the floodgates to just all the other pieces would come together. And really that's like our biggest obstacle. It's hard to say though. I guess everyone's in their own spot, and some of us have to like push forward on a physical level and dig some dirt and turn over some compost and like get it going that way. And some of us maybe are just as like valued by like focusing on like the internal side of it, I guess. And like, I don't know, trying to change the basic like frequency of like the way that human beings broadcast, like sort of energetically, I suppose.
I love that. Thank you, Philip. That was beautiful. I'm going to pass it off to Galia, but if you want to share more, Philip, about how you're currently manifesting your dreams, that would be amazing too. Maybe that can come later. Okay.
Sure.
Galia, please.
Yeah. So I like that I'm following that, because I think I'm less of a vision person than a lot of people here in some ways. I love hearing all of yours, but like when it comes to, utopia and these ideas, like I really, really strongly believe in the power of intentional community, and what like just some fundamental group of people you fundamentally trust, and like everyone's there to look out and bolster each other, like how powerful that can be. And that's something I'm always kind of seeking to manifest in my own life. And so like, I am sort of less of a vision person, I think, when it comes to permaculture and stuff like that, but I think it's also connected. And, my ideals and dreams line up with what I'm hearing here. And I'm sort of in an interesting position. I've had an office job all of my life, but in my free time, I've helped organize a lot of these like intentional gatherings and events around fostering communities, something I really value. And I like love logistics and like setting the mood, event lighting, event planning, and then I guess sort of related, always trying to bring like leaves, trays, stuff. So like shout out Scotty, the stuff you were doing sounds cool. Like for the events, and like, I think, like now it's like a consciousness raising time. It definitely has been for me. Like COVID's helped give me a lot of perspective on my life. So I'm planning on leaving my office job in like late April. And so while I don't have a vision for myself yet specifically, listening to kind of all of what you are getting up to is really, really inspiring me for what my future might hold. So thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Galia, for sharing. That's so beautiful. And Dustin, I don't know if you're still on or if you were Scotty. Yeah, what's up? How's it going?
Hey, good. And I've been catching like pieces of, actually, Scotty, go get what you need to, because Scott has to do a transfer for his phone, so it's perfect timing. I've been catching little glimpses of everyone talking, and I heard a couple things that were really cool. And one of the things for me when we did like the vision is I just went to an ashram last night, and like it was really cool how this guy created like this whole environment around like a certain aesthetic, and it was just really cohesive. Everyone was very caring and like taking care of each other. There was a kirtan and everyone was dancing together, and that's kind of where I feel like what's up, Shanti? That's where I feel like I kind of come into play, because I hang out with Scott a lot. I'm around Lindsay, and they're always teaching me like more and more things about any like permaculture, growing food, just anything with that. So I'm like absorbing through osmosis. But what I really like to do is I like to put together like events and like music events, and which we're doing here right now, and just like really bring in the vibe and just lift up everyone. And it really is. It's super cool, like just to have that type of hub to attract people, because what this movement is, like I believe like Sid, you, Scotty, everything that you guys are doing, and what Scotty's business is with like compost and what he's working on and where it comes from, and really like derived from the energy that comes from there. So like my vision is just having a hub where maybe we practice. I heard someone say Palu. I'll put this. There you go. Scotty. Scotty doesn't know how to use technology. He's messed me up. Just shut off the speaker so it doesn't echo. There you go. All right. But I heard someone say Kripalu, and like I thought that's really like cool intention, where everyone like meditates together, everyone works together, and grows food together. And I see the dancing as how we express energy together and get inspired too. And I don't know, like music is very inspirational, and when it's done in a certain way too, it can move you and inspire you for bigger dreams. And so that's kind of my vision, is like having all that together, and me being more of like the person that helps like do media and do the music portion of all the what ashram I went to. I went to Ariana's ashram. I forget what it's called. Scotty, no, where Scott doesn't know either. But it's in Maine. I can get the industry Maine. Yeah. So
Thank you, Dustin. Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah, no problem. And so that's where I am. I want to be part of the like community that's working on that and bring what I have and my gift to what the the collective is doing.
Thank you so much. You've done such a wonderful job bringing us together. I really appreciate you and how you're applying your music production and everything you do. And with that, I would love to pass it off to Wisty.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Hi. It's so funny. I feel like Dustin and I always have magical timing together with these Zoom calls. Anyway, hi everyone. My name is Wisty, and I am similar to Cheryl in that I'm in this transitional stage, and I am just like starting to come out of my hibernation, but it's also like weird and interesting because I just left Instagram and Facebook yesterday after the whole terms of service transition, and so I'm snatching up everyone's emails and really excited to hit up everyone through email and texting. Anyway, okay, my dream, I have like zoomed out, not like Wisty dream, but then I also have Wisty dreams. So I feel like I'm on Earth right now to help people heal and remember that they can heal themselves. And so I'm a Reiki practitioner, a master healer, and so that's kind of like what I've been transitioning into with my work since COVID. Pre-COVID, I was dancing, I was teaching fitness, and I also hosted some workshops at the Creative Zone. And movement is like also a part of a part of healing and a part of enjoying life and everything. So that's also a part of me, but I've been taking a little break from movement classes to focus more on Reiki. So I know that in a different point in time, because we are becoming less linear in time, but at some point in time, I'm so excited to be able to be in a world where we have full awareness of the vibrational reality and the power that we all have within each other. Because like Philip mentioned, like I really resonated with that like instinct, that the idea that utopia is instinct and that utopia is natural, because I feel like that when we are in that natural state, then we are able to remember, like, we are love, we are spirit having a human experience. And I feel like once we are all in that, like, that is like normal understanding, like, it's going to be an incredible world. And I'm really excited to help Earth get there. I don't know if we'll get there while I'm still alive. I don't know, because we don't know. But yeah, I'm like really activated by everyone, hearing the manifestation of these dreams already happening. And even as we speak them, I'm so thankful, Sydney, that we have this opportunity to speak it out, because when we speak it out, then we are like putting it into physical vibration, like physical form. And just by speaking it out, we're like literally bringing that reality closer to us. So yay, congrats to everyone involved in here. And yeah, oh my gosh, I feel like the energy is like, and I'm like going a bajillion miles an hour. So I'm going to take a moment to ground. But I love you all so much. Thank you for listening. And if you want to collaborate and, co-create this magical reality together, you can hit me up via email at wistyheart@gmail.com. And I'm doing a New Year's Reiki bath, because I feel like it's perfect to start the new year off with, just soaking in healing vibes, good vibes. So yeah, that's what I'm up to. And thank you for letting me share.
Thank you so much, Wisty. I have to say, I've had some of the most incredible meditations of my life led by Wisty. So I really, really recommend her and everything you do, Wisty. So calming. And I also would love to introduce Shanti. She raised her hand as wanting to speak. Shanti has been such a healing, calming force as well, a part of the Creative Zone. She helped with Wellness Wednesday, bringing people together regularly. So Shanti, please introduce yourself. So happy to have you. And share your dreams.
Hello. I am Shanti. Yes, like Sid said, I worked with the Creative Zone, kind of like getting together yogis to help lead us in wellness every Wednesday. And I just am a healer and artist in many ways, because I'm just on my journey of expression and healing self and finding all the different corners that I can express and heal. So that is very much connected to my dream utopia of a community. I definitely agree with what everybody is talking about on here. I'm hearing self-sustainability. I'm hearing being able to provide for self and others. I'm hearing just a lot of ways that we can, work with the earth to get everything that we need. Oh yeah, I also do a Dreamer's Den on Fridays at Instagram. I host, basically I like to facilitate conversation with people, and it's connected to this. I just give a moment to bring attention and intention to our dreams, and just the power, like Wisty said, of really using our vibration and putting it out there to speak and and just think about like the realities that we're trying to create. We are creating our realities. So bringing more control, more attention, more intention in that. So yes, when I think about space, I think about nature and self-sustainability and a bartering community and all that. But most importantly, I think about like holding space for each other, like a community where we are all healing and learning how to hold space for ourselves and hold space for each other. Because I'm in a space where I'm seeing a lot of people going through their shadows. I'm seeing people seeing their darkness and wanting to wallow in it. And I'm seeing people compartmentalize themselves, and I'm seeing people hiding behind taboo and not allowing themselves to really speak through what is going on. So an ideal community for me would be a place where people can feel comfortable and know that they have places that they could speak about what's heavy. Like, there's so much space for light, to be brought up. There's so much space to talk about everything good, but I just am very heavy on my heart right now, especially for a couple people I can think of specifically right now who just really need space held for them. So an ideal community is a place where we're all healing and we all can recognize when somebody really just needs an ear, not an opinion, not a solution, but just to be heard. So I think that's very important. I'm dealing with people in my family, people in my life who I just see, they just are keeping themselves small, feeling like they're not worthy of community because of this darkness that they carry with them. But that's when you need community most. So I think it's very important that this community we're creating is providing space and providing grace, that we have grace with ourselves and in each other. Just space to be however we, coming as you are, not like feeling like you have to get right to be in community, like knowing that you are right for community already and just being empowered in yourself, whether you're light or dark, and just knowing that space will be held for you, or knowing that you can learn ways to hold space for yourself.
Yes, Shanti.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And I just have to reiterate, Shanti does this. She holds space every Friday night on Instagram. I just shared the link. I highly recommend joining in, commenting. She rides the wave of comments. So whatever people comment, she rides that wave, and it's a beautiful opportunity to connect that way. So thank you, Shanti. And I hope I didn't cut you off. Is there anything you wanted to share beyond that?
I think that was the meat of it.
Okay.
I think we got it.
Perfect, perfect. I think next we have Scotty.
Shanti, oh my God, so beautiful. Yes, that, all that. Yeah, feeling really vibing, so good. We're all feeling vibing. And yeah, I'm really picking up on this theme of there being a fundamental reality shift of what we believe to be the foundations of our truth, right? And as we create community and spend time getting to know ourselves and one another, creating that space for the things that are quote unquote like impossible or just like physically not like part of what we understand to be how the world works. And that's really one of the big things that excite me about this space, of that sort of breaking down those walls. And I saw a little bit out in my image of these like sort of like physical fences kind of like being walked over in peaceful barefoot kind of way, and just like, just sort of breaking down these boundaries and celebrating. So the other part of that vision is like celebration, us getting together, like celebrating everything we have to celebrate, and more, and sharing good food and good weed and healthy organic everything, and like just really nourishing our souls and each other, and and being intentional about that, you know, and knowing where we came from and what happened on this land before that, but while allowing ourselves to feel that ecstasy and that bliss that can come from these bigger picture sort of, you know, revelations of, you know, self and community. So yeah, really feeling like so happy that I like waited to share till now, because like hearing like y'all share just so charges me and vibes me up, and I feel really good about that. And yeah, just like this idea that there are things outside of what we know to be like real, like magic or energy, or, you know, whatever you might want to call it. And these are things that I feel like this group and people who are doing this kind of devoting themselves to this sort of work, this sort of play, is like we are at the forefront of revealing these things that we don't necessarily know to be true or real yet. And that's what really, you know, jazzes me up. And yeah, I'll leave it at that and share a little bit of my love with y'all. Peace.
Thank you so much. I would love to pass it off to Rhodes next, if you're still wanting to share.
Absolutely. Thank you, Sydney. I guess I'll pop in the video and just say that, you know, our ancestors had it right. Like, they labeled things the way they were supposed to be labeled. And again, I'm glad you guys are part of this collective. Think about, like, you know, poison ivy, poison sumac, poison oak. You smoke any of those, they'll kill you. They didn't put the word poison in front of marijuana. And it's been through corporations, and I think that's one of the things we should actually be watching out for, is corporations for hundreds of years have been doing this, derailing us and keeping us away from nature. And that it's all about profit and making money, and we got to make this movement profitable in order to like beat them at their own game. Because bottom line is, it's to them, it's all about the money. It doesn't matter if they're destroying the planet or fixing the planet. If they're making $1 on it, they're going to join. And so one of the core things that I always like to kind of point out is like our ancestors had the point where they understood everything came from the heavens and earth. And if they, you know, and again, if supposed these Christians believe that in God and Jesus living in heaven, why can't we get our energy from God and Jesus? What's wrong with the sun, the wind, tidal waves, natural stuff? Like, why are we going to the underground where supposedly the devil lives, and we're all on that fracking fossil fuel for war, for greed, pollution, all these things. So it's like one of the things that we really got to watch out for is no matter how sustainable we make a movement, if it's not profitable, it's going to be destroyed. It's going to be about, like, again, corporations coming in and taking over. Like, look at like marijuana. It's a plant, and now it becomes legal. It becomes so regulated. Like most people, unless, you know, you get the medical card in Massachusetts, that's the only way you can grow. But most people can't get into the business of actually growing marijuana, which is a plant. And, you know, it's like I said, it's just part of Mother Nature. How do you outlaw a tree? How do you outlaw, like, the air? Like, you know, outlaw poverty, famine, you know, wars, things, those things, but don't outlaw Mother Nature. So that's all I wanted to say. And I'm glad you guys are meeting and doing this. But again, let's make sure that this does stay sustainable in the sense that we have like long-term vision for the planet to get back to what it is, you know, being one with nature.
Wow, Rhodes, thank you so much. I love everything of what you just shared. And I just want to say, as a part of my dream, we can live in abundance without it being profitable. And we can explore sacred economics, or giving in the spirit of giving, with not expecting anything in return, and seeing food and shelter as a right that we can create ourselves with our own hands by learning from people like Scotty and Philip who are doing it. So thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Rhodes, oh my gosh, that was beautiful. And who's next? I don't know if we have a queued up next. Oh, Philip, all right, here we go. You're muted. You're muted again, I'm sorry.
There we go.
All right.
All right. First, I want to respond to Rhodes. That was pretty cool. I'm on that, definitely on that frequency. I started like a breeding collective a few years ago in order to preserve genetics that are underrepresented in the black market and the above ground market. So I give away seeds, I give away clones, I preserve specific things that I think have spiritual value rather than just get you fucked up or look pretty or are strong. So there's that. I'm also giving away like a bunch of herb like this week, like before Christmas. I'm basically just gonna like around like the Boston, Worcester area, I'm basically just gonna drive to people's houses and drop off aids, and like it's basically like that. And if I see homeless people, I'm just gonna throw ganja at them. And another thing I wanted to respond to was Shanti said something really profound that I've thought about for a long time. The idea of community, well, not just community, but just in general, there being a place for people to process and have space held for difficult emotions and heavy emotions. And I think that it's really, I don't know, I feel like it's so rare. I feel like it's so rare to really feel, because you want to be positive. You don't want to be like negative and whatever, but at some point you have to feel into like these things that we often don't want to feel into. And I heard a quote recently that I love, which is, you got to feel it to heal it. And so, yeah, like, I don't know, like that is something that I try to like give other people, is to give people space I mean, sometimes I'm not able to, but like to give people the space to process difficult feelings instead of being like, you have to be positive. And usually what happens is that ends up being the ground from which true positivity can grow, rather than this like facade of positivity or forced positivity.
Thank you.
Can I say something really quick?
Please, please.
I live in Acton, Mass. If you want to, but that's my.
I live in Sharon. No, just let you know.
Like, I got seeds too. Like, you want seeds? You want ganja? Like, I'm serious. Like,
take it all. Take it all.
I was just gonna like kind of piggyback off of what you said. Like, definitely about holding space for both energies. Part of what made me think of it is I heard, there's so much talk in spiritual community about coming into our higher self, which is beautiful, which is necessary. But already in creating a higher self, that means there is a lower self, right? Mm-hmm. So people doing the higher self work are denying a whole section of themselves. So what we really need to do is become whole self, So that includes the darkness, that includes all of that. So yes, you got to feel it to heal it, but definitely I'm trying to spread that to everyone. It's not just, integration. Yes. It's not just higher self. You need to acknowledge everything. Shadow work. Yes. I'm here for it. I live in my shadows right now, so whole self. That's the goal.
Wow. Amazing. Does anyone feel called to share who has not yet? And there's no pressure at all. This could totally be podcast style. You're just listening in, but everyone is welcome here.
I'll share.
Deanna!
Hi. So this whole conversation has been so amazing. I was just going to listen in podcast style because I just got back from a very long trip. I was living on the road for a while, and I am like working on regaining my physical energy and balancing my energies. But I resonate so deeply with everything that everyone said. My vision of utopia, it makes me think of the group where I met Sydney, and all of this talk of holding space, holding sacred space for each other is exactly what it's all about. Basically, just being in a space where everyone is free to be exactly who they are, their natural selves, as I have heard mentioned in this group. And for me, I dream of living outside of the the constructs and the limits of what is accepted in the mainstream society. And that's a big thing of what has sort of like pushed me into this. But once I sort of started diving in, I've become really passionate about sustainable building techniques. My background is in industrial design. So like, I really, really, really just want to, like someone said, some people just like want to get their hands dirty and break ground. I do feel like I have that physical urge to be like, I just want to start building things, but I also love the research aspect. And so I love groups like this so much because I do feel like we are co-creating by having this conversation. And sorry, I'm like, so I'm in a very, I literally just got back. I'm in such a weird space right now, but I'm so grateful to be a part of this. And honestly, joining this conversation at this time is so perfect for me because this is the beginning of a new cycle. And I'm so excited to see what's to come from everybody in this group. And thank you all for sharing and for having this.
I'm curious what type of structures you have dabbled in, or like what, like sustainable structures. Can you elaborate on that?
Oh yeah, so one of the concepts that I first heard of that really, really inspired me was the concept of Earthships by architect Michael Reynolds. I don't know if anyone in the group is familiar. Yeah, so basically like just this idea that like, I mean, we have on this earth everything that we need to build a structure. And I also feel that from like an energy standpoint, like I think that energy, well, I know that energy doesn't flow in a box. And I do believe that we are meant to be living in more organic structures, but basically the Earthship concept, so it uses like a 4-tier water system. So you collect your water, it gets filtered and goes through the faucets and the showers and stuff. And then what goes through there is filtered again, but that's the gray water, and that goes into the toilet, and it feeds, there's like indoor greenhouses. So basically that goes into the heating and cooling system, which the house basically faces, it has windows that face 90 degrees to the winter sun on December 21st. And that heats the house. And then it has like a huge like tube that goes into the wall. And essentially there's like a cupboard door, which is the air system. Due to my mental state right now, I'm blanking on technical terms for anything, but I would seriously recommend looking into it and also maybe speaking with me at another time. But it's such an amazing concept. And, you know, from my own background, like I have a lot of friends who are architects that I've been talking to about it. And obviously there are modifications that can be made to help the structures thrive in different environments. So basically I've just been diving into research in that realm. And that's something that like, I'm just really putting it out there that I would like to attract everyone into my experience who is aligned with that and has like, I just believe that everyone who has the different aspects of the knowledge needed to do this, that it will be aligned. And I'm so excited for that project. I feel like I have the physical urge to like just build.
And I can't wait to see it happen, Deanna. Deanna's a big inspiration behind this event, as she is living by example and was just checking out communities across the country to do what we're dreaming about. So, not to speak for you, Deanna, but I just wanted to welcome Sarah and Ellen and anyone else who's here and who has not yet spoken. Feel free to, but there's no pressure at all. We're at 5:20 and there's no end time, but I'm just so grateful to have you all on and to be experiencing this with you and to feel so connected, so intimately connected with all of you, because I can relate and resonate with your dreams. Please.
to Dina, I remember hearing about Earthship when I went to visit Haiti. They're using old used tires and bottles to actually build all these houses. That was awesome. So just wanted to give a shout out to your organization and people doing those things out there.
Yeah, super cool. It reminds me of like an Alan Watts quote where he talks about how nature is wiggly and how humans have decided to put things in boxes and lines, like straight lines, even though nature's not in straight lines. So why are we trying to put things in boxes? And it affects not only like the physical space, but also our mental space. Like putting things in boxes puts our mind in a box and doesn't allow us to think creatively and freely. And we need those wiggles in nature and in our lives to grow. It's a cool thing to add.
Thank you, Wiggly.
Sid, I'd like to offer a song.
Okay.
I was thinking it might be I don't know if we're near closing out, but it feels appropriate for that.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're there yet.
I'm
on the
down.
spot, so here I am.
Here we go.
This is a song by one of my song circle teachers. Her name is Heather Houston. I don't remember what the name of it is, but it goes, oh, we are creating the world we want to see. Oh, we are creating the world we want to be. Oh, we are creating the world we want to see. Yes, we're calling ourselves to believe. Yes, we're calling ourselves to be free.
Wow. Wow, that was amazing. Thank
you, everyone.
Thank you.
I don't have any words other than that, believe it or not. Tage is speechless.
If everyone wants to unmute and clap, you can.
I don't know what kind of world that is, but I appreciate everyone. Man, this is such a beautiful space, and I have such a brain crush on all of you.
I have such a brain crush on everyone, too, and a heart crush. But I think this would be a really good time for anyone to share any last things that you feel called to share, and then we'll share a little logistical information about the next session. So before that, feel free to unmute. And Malou, I know you had something to share.
Yeah, I mean, and I definitely did want to wait till everyone contributed because it's directly related to everyone, right? I think what really came to me and what keeps coming to me is that there's a real movement starting, and that's been starting since like the 60s, but that has gone up and down in waves. But there's a real power behind the idea of regenerative living right now, and that coming alongside social justice and environmental justice and the new world that we're building. And it's really, really easy. I see this a lot because I've been sort of in this type of community my whole life. It's really easy, since we for a long time had a mentality of scarcity, that there would be only so many resources to support projects like this, for people to sort of really say, this is my bubble, this is my eco-village, yours is over there. And that's what we need to get over. We need to become our own empowered network, right? The money networks that buy the big tanks and that repress everyone are very, very well connected, and they work together all the time. And we need to get to that point where your eco-village and my meditation community and the organization that I work with and your organization and all that we are asking the question of, what do you need? Not what are you doing? Not a big challenge, right? Not a how are you earning your clout, but what do you need to continue doing work that I believe you will do, right? And instilling some trust into that system. And I think that's done on a personal level when we do these types of gatherings, and hopefully we can do these in the future together. And that can eventually turn into what business folks would call, networking, but that we're doing that on a much more grassroots, literal sort of mycelial network I know came up today. And that we're really focusing on not who's going to get which grant or who's going to get which land, but what can I do for you, and how can we be bigger than the sum of our parts. So then that leads me to two last final things. One is that the Human Unity Movement, an organization that Sid and I both put together, basically, that we're both founders of to a certain degree, it is doing a massive tree planting drive. And we've got numbers that'll be coming up on our website that show exactly how many trees it would take to be planted in the world for us to add about 70 to 80 years to the carbon clock right now, and give us the time we would need to switch over. And I'll tell you, I don't have detailed numbers for you right now, but if you just take the people who are capable of planting trees in their lifetime, like monetarily, and they have the resources and stuff on the planet, and you take about those 1.2 billion people who have enough resources to plant a tree, and you ask them to each either fund or plant themselves 40 to 50 trees over the next 5 years. And we actually add 65 or 70 years to the carbon clock, just doing that. So, the question ends up being, do you have that little bit of time? All of you clearly do. And what I'd love to do is in the spring, when we do our next drive, just link everybody's efforts so that there's social media showing that there's a real network here and that these things are actually happening so that people are inspired to become part of a bigger thing. And then the second thing that I really want to bring up that I'm not going to delve really deeply into right now because I could get lost forever, but is seeds. Sydney and I had a meeting with someone from the Seeds organization, the Seeds cryptocurrency actually. And it's a really fascinating project that I think in the future of these meetings we should talk about a little bit, but I'll give you a really brief rundown. This is a new currency that is intended to be used within regenerative communities and among activists. And so it is not directly connected to like a fiat currency, like a dollar or anything like that. But the idea is that it's representative of effort and that it can be traded amongst different eco-villages and such. So there's even a couple villages in Central America that are currently using it to trade amongst themselves for effort, farming goods, food, and all of that. And the entire system, the final thing I want to say about it is that the entire system is set up to be a monetary system that supports regeneration instead of destruction. And our current monetary system, profit means you hurt someone, right? You took it from someone else, you bombed something, whatever. This entire system is flipped that on its head. So we'll hopefully talk about that again in the near future. But you're all amazing. Thank you for being here today. I didn't have a whole lot to say this time around. I'll be coming with more in the future. And please take care of yourselves because the world fucking needs you. Thank you.
Malou, you will definitely be a spotlight for our future visioning sessions. So thank you so much for holding the fort and bringing us together today. And I love you all. Any last words? Yes, Philip, yes. Please. Oh, Rhodes, and then Philip.
No, I just again to hit on what Mr. Wilder said. The idea is like there are people out there that have their networks and they collaborate and they work together to maintain the status quo. And like the idea that you can poison a water system and no one's held accountable and nothing is said and done about that, like entire towns and communities. And Flint's just one that we heard of. And there are hundreds of communities that this happens to, that they have chemical plants, that they have corporate neighbors that destroy their areas and just kind of leave, and people are left there with all the medical ills that are left with because of their environmentally, they were poisoned. But we got to like keep an eye on that the fact that they don't poison the earth for all of us. Okay.
Thank you, Rhodes. And Philip, I'll give you a second to prepare yourself to unmute yourself. But thank you so much for sharing that, Rhodes. That was beautiful.
There we go. Am I ready?
Good.
Just one last thing, small thing. Just to remind y'all that if you live in the Boston or Worcester area, email me and I will drive to your house and give you herbs, my favorite herbs of all. I also have seeds. If you want seeds, these are very, very, very special seeds. So,
what's your email?
What is that? I put it in the chat, I believe. I thought I sent it in the chat.
I will be sending the chat.
I'll say it right now. It's SPIRYLL @gmail.com. So it's like spiral, but instead of AL, it's YLL @gmail.com.
And I'll be making
I'll test out again.
Test.
Yeah.
What?
And I can attest that Phil's herb is very special. And I grew one of the strains some years ago, and still to this day, it is the most special herb I've ever grown or smoked. So that's a big statement, and I really appreciate you, Phil, and what you do. And I also identify as a weed fairy, and we should unite. And maybe we can come up with some kind of a map and sprinkle weed. I'd also like to say one more thing, and just like, building off of a lot of what we're all bringing here, this like potential for big picture change, and creating opportunities for people's potentials to be reached. And I really feel like that is what we're looking at here, is the ability to help one another to reach our fullest potential, or whatever, and really have our dreams realized. And that, that can happen through, sharing knowledge, like, having accessible workshops. And a bigger picture dream is to have, plug and play cooperative businesses where people can work with the waste stream and other, agriculture and different things to create businesses locally all around the world, and creating a framework for people to be able to plug into that. But that's just something that came up, and I really appreciate talking with y'all, and look forward to seeing where this is going.
Thank you so much, Scotty. And my dream is to be a part of making it fun to learn about growing your own food and building your own shelter, and learning about what you have in your own backyard that you can use. So I'm definitely going to be doing that. I don't know much about it, but I like facilitating conversations and learning that way. So thank you all for joining me and being open-minded and open-hearted. And I love you all. And I think what we'll do is we'll make another Facebook event, and we will get together January 3rd at 4 p.m. for the next visioning session, which will actually come into being our focus from this conversation. So I'm going to share our chat messages with you all. I'm going to put together a list of what we all talked about, and from there patterns will surface, and we'll have a focus for our next visioning session. So thank you all. And we don't have to leave right away. So if anyone has anything else they want to share, go for it.
I just wanted to say thank you, Sydney, for doing this.
Thank you, Mo.
Yeah, I personally am very thankful, because I intended to be more involved, and I wasn't, and you did it anyway.
You've been great. You've been great, Malou. Everyone played the role they were meant to. So it's been beautiful. And you guys are going to get some great ganja from Philip. So let's go.
Thanks for holding the space, Sid. You're the best.
Thank you, Deanna. Thank you.
Thanks for doing this. It was awesome as always.
Right back at you, Glenn.
Yeah. So I just want to say, I feel like I didn't say enough about what I do. I just do so many different things. And so I too am into the sound healing and the dance. And I'm also going back to school, actually, for sustainable agriculture. And yeah, it's going to go beyond that. So, and then the other thing is, I'm also, there's a probability that I could be doing some independent studies, or there could be a need for me to do that. So I want to throw that out there now, even though I have no idea what's coming up, but my higher self is telling me to put it out there, that I probably will be needing to do some independent studies or independent projects and stuff like that. And I'm not opposed to getting out of where I am in Western Mass. I've been pretty rooted here for about 1.5 years now, and that's a long time for me. So, my home base is here, but I don't mind going to visit and hang out and help and contribute in any way. Yeah.
Thank you.
So.
Thank you, Glenn.
Right.
Appreciate
Thanks.
that.
Peace.
Peace. Appreciate you.
Peace and love.
Peace and love. Scotty. Oh, can you hear me, Scotty? Scotty, do you want to share, do you want to, as we wrap up, do you want to share anything at all with the group about what you've learned through getting your hands dirty in any of these spaces? Or I don't want to put you on the spot, but to close, I feel like it would be appropriate to have you share. Whatever's on your heart or mind.
Yeah, I'd say that. Yeah, what I'm feeling is like that. There have been. Yeah, I guess I sort of have experienced like faint glimmer. I grew up in a sort of like a hippie commune kind of vibe. Bunch of just like hippie families all lived in this big farm in Acton, Maine. And I've seen glimmers of like the vision of like sustainable community, and it always just sort of felt like faint and distant. And that right now, like particularly like right now, it feels like very like real and possible. And a lot of the work I do is like taking something from like in my mind and creating it in the physical reality. So like building stuff, I like build structures and landscape construction and earth and machines and bikes and things. So like that's my way of like in the physical world creating my dreams. And like what we're doing right now is like further sussing out what that dream looks like in a collective way, and allowing and facilitating that to sort of organically come from, instead of just one person or a small group of people, using this internet platform, which is like, kind of like people, we all have our like light side and dark side, like what Phil and Shanti were saying, and the internet can be a really beautiful tool, as we all see right now. And it's facilitating us to be able to hear and feel and see each other from the comfort of wherever we're at. And I just feel really close to that dream right now. And that I invite us to realize that while it's like, fiction and maybe far away in the future, that also we can create this in real time, parts of it, and some parts may be further away. And I feel like, with our powers combined kind of vibe.
Yeah, definitely. And you make me feel like it's possible, Scotty, especially the work you're doing building yurts and so many other sustainable projects and waste collection. And yeah, you make the dream feel real. And so do you, Anna, with the work you're doing at ARC. Let's all go hang out with Anna in New York.
Yes,
please.
I got the planet.
For 7 years, and so I was an artisan. I was a tiler, and I trained to do that. I did an apprenticeship for 4 years, and it was brutal, but I did it, and I learned a lot. And so I too love to manifest things with my hands. So
it sounds like you and Scotty will be stone maker. What do you call yourself? Yeah, stone workers.
Are you a mason, Scotty?
In a past life.
Okay. I got you. Yeah. So I come from a family of masons, and I have a natural inclination towards working with stone and natural materials. So that brought me to the tile, which was I really just got into it to help a friend who had physical disabilities, and it just turned into this whole thing. But yeah, so
love it.
Woo! All right. You guys are making me all psyched and inspired. I love it. And I'm also an artist. So yeah, I'm just like excited about going back to school, but I'm going to have to sit still for a little bit longer. That's it.
Anna, do you want to touch on ARC briefly?
I mean, I could always say more, but I mostly just wanted to say thank you to you and to everybody for being here. This is like definitely, I think, community in and of itself is medicine, and like we're all going through stuff right now, and just creating space and holding space, like with any intention, honestly, any type of intentional space being held right now, even if it is this weird like digital reality that we find ourselves in. It's really potent magic, and I have been feeling even though I've been like connecting with nature and like folks in like this specific context, I have been feeling really disconnected from the rest of community, which has been like recurring throughout, you know, these weird times in COVID, and, you know, the disconnection that comes with periods of self-isolation or with our bubbles or whatever. So I just want to thank everybody for sharing their visions, and I'm excited for what else might come of this. I feel like this is like turned into this cool like spiritual healing networking opportunity for so many people. So just thank you. And I'd love to stay in touch about ARC stuff or anything else. I mentioned a few other things in the chat, like this this virtual meeting, or I guess, I don't know what you want to call it, like peer support group that I wanted to sort of collaborate, co-create with folks. If people are interested in that, it's, you know, very much focused on the shadow, but with also, you know, letting in the light with our gratitude and everything. So I hope to see more of you there and keep connecting on all kinds of platforms. In terms of like everybody's email, will the chat be like saved somehow? And yes.
Okay. I will make sure everyone can get in touch. And I just wanted to say thank you, Anna, for your vulnerability and sharing what you shared about community, because, you know, a lot of my own darkness and isolation has prompted me to want to be around people who are actively doing things to better our world, and to be around people who are great at holding space. Like, as much as I'm sort of holding this space, you are all holding space for me too, and I need it more than most. So I'm just super grateful for you all for showing up and being amazing, and being willing to share the shadows, as Shanti said. So thank you. Philip, I know you have something to say. No? No?
I mean, I could.
I thought I saw.
I guess I have a lot of things to say. I don't know. But if yeah, I'll talk. If no one else wants to talk. Wait, am I on? Am I live now?
You're not muted right now, but we can hear you. We can hear you.
This is my first proper Zoom meeting, for the record.
Wow.
This is my first ever Zoom meeting. I kind of snuck in one time on something that you invited me to, but I didn't participate, and I didn't figure out anything about it. I just kind of...
That's a big deal, actually. And Philip, like, I won't speak for you, but Philip has been doing some things in the woods to prepare for hosting us. So I'm not going to speak any further about it, but I'll let you share whatever you want to.
So Catalyst was your project / is your project, right?
Wait, did you go to Catalyst?
Dude, I remember this being part of my beginning journey is when I was younger. Yeah, and I just wanted to mention that. I've camped on your land. I've felt rejuvenated by it. I've met people.
Wow.
I've been fed there. I've danced there. So thank you.
Small world, people. Small world. Shit. Holy fuck. Wow. Well, yeah, I suppose Catalyst was one thing that I did want to talk about. So, yeah, I live in a mountain in the middle of nowhere, northern Vermont. 4 hours away from everybody I've ever known. Basically, I kind of like went off the deep end. Just kind of like, I don't know. But anyway, I'm trying to build all kinds of things. I have a rain collecting system with a wood heated hot tub on a cliff. That's my most recent like merit badge. But Catalyst is a free event that happens. Well, I mean, it didn't happen last year, but it usually happens every year. It's like 100 to 200 people, usually centered around like experimental electronic music mostly, but no specific genre. I emphasize like original production, so it's mostly like, or it's like at least half of the people are just original producers. They're not DJs. They don't necessarily fit into a genre. They maybe like sound like a bunch of genres. You all should come. You should all come to Catalyst next year. I don't have a date yet, so I can't like clue you in on that. But Catalyst is my baby, and it's never fully manifested the way that I wanted it to. And I think that next year is going to be the year where it actually like goes beyond what I've been trying to do, because I've been doing the work and I've been building the foundation. And so I don't have to build a foundation next year. I can build a home on top of it, well, metaphorically a home. And what else can I say? I don't know.
Well, I can't wait to come see your land and bring as
Yeah, you
many
should all
people as
go.
I can with me. That's COVID safe, or hopefully COVID will be bye-bye by then.
Yeah, you should totally all go. It's amazing.
Yeah.
With Philip, we were driving off of the mountain from Catalyst like 7 or 8 years ago, or longer. I can't remember. And we saw a cloud. We were so high up in the beautiful mountains that you live on, and we saw a cloud come down that was exactly like a dragon. I mean, this jaw, an eye, and it came down over the road in front of us and then went back up the side of the mountain as we drove through. And it was beautiful, and you know, just so you know, it's meant something a lot. So thank you.
That means so much to me. That's what I live for. That's why like it's always going to be free, is because like so many people have come to me and told me that it was like the most important experience of their life, which is crazy. It's like, what the fuck? Like, I mean, it's the land. It's just like the people that come. It's the intention. It's like synchronicity, you know. And the whole thing about the cloud dragon, I mean, I can relate to that in the sense that like I have seen things on that mountain. I feel like nature has shown me things and opened like its secrets in ways that like I could never have imagined. And like I feel like that's the kind of thing that I've seen before, where I'm like, this is too perfect to be like an accident. Like, what the fuck? Like
And things like this make me want a vision about organization. Like, how can more people connected to this spirit learn about what you're doing, Philip, in a way that you feel comfortable? And then how can you make known what you're working on so individuals like Deanna can come and share her background and her, you know, hands. And so, like, yeah, I'm just inspired to help connect the dots. I don't know about you all, but I want to help actualize.
Anybody who wants to participate in Catalyst, like, I mean, and there's so many ways that, like, you know, and I want people to contribute on their level. Like, well, what do you want to do? Like Shanti's talking about, like, holding space for people. And it's like, I don't know exactly what she means by that, but, like, I'm interested. She wants, you know, like, I'm open to, like, creating an environment for that kind of thing or whatever people want to do. I mean, I have, well, not whatever, because I do have a filter. I have a filter. I am a curator of the event, and I'm very particular about the music that's played there and certain things that happen and don't happen. So I should also add that, like, for better or worse, for some people, it's an alcohol-free event. But there is a ganja bar, or there will be a ganja bar. I mean, I gave away a bunch of ganja last year. But, like, I wasn't able to, like, the organization, that's the thing. It's like, if I can get some help, boom.
We're there. We're there.
Get the ganja bar going.
We're there.
I want, like, a proper ganja bar, you know? Like, I want to show people what's up. Make it, like, a tasteful experience, like a mystical experience. Like, you go to the, I don't know, like, I want to host. I want to, like, tend the thing and be, like, I don't know. I want to, like, guide people to the right strain.
Can I serve people?
I want to, like, read them. And be like, what do you, like, I just know, like, sometimes I'll know, too. Like, some people I'll just be like, this is the strain for you, out of, like, 20 strains or something like that. And it's like, but, like, sometimes, whatever, like, I love the process of, like, talking shop with people, talking genetics, talking about, like, the subtle nuances of the effects. Now, obviously, yeah, people are going to be affected differently, but there's certain consistent, like, recurring themes, you know? And so, I don't know, guiding people to the right strain is like, that's like one of my roles in this world. So
it's like a cannabis sommelier almost.
Yeah. Love it.
Yes.
Beautiful.
He has a sophisticated palate.
Well, I'm there. I'm there to help you, Philip, and I'm there to help you get volunteers, and I'm here to help anyone get volunteers. And Shanti,
I really like that.
we're going.
I did drink. I was a real wine aficionado, and so now it's something. It's the medicine instead. So I've been also growing my own strains, and I just did my first batch in quite a long time. I think it was almost 20 years, and it's a really nice batch, but it could be better. And so, yeah, I'm trying to gear it around for women, but it could be for anybody really, because when you talk about like reverse cannabinoid systems, which I have a reverse cannabinoid system, and it took me a little while to figure that out. But yeah, awesome.
Cool.
I love you guys. You're so inspiring. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I think on that one note, we're pretty good to wrap up. You guys okay with that?
Yep.
All right. We'll have an amazing night, and Scotty, have fun at Nomad Retreat Center. Malou, if you want to close out.
I just want to say thank you for all the work that you're all doing. I mean,
Yeah.
it's we are potentially entering a renaissance here, friends. This thing's been messy for a long time, and there's a lot of people showing up with all sorts of skill sets and all sorts of incredibly powerful hearts. And Shanti, I wanted to just note really quickly as a meditation teacher, I just love that it's so refreshing to hear that your focus is on holding space for the dark and difficult, because that's where we wrap our best stuff, right? Like we go through pain and trauma, and then we wrap up our loveliest parts and our fears and our pains and our anger. And if we don't address that wrapping, then we never get to the gold inside. So thank you for that work. And thank you to everyone who's making it more accessible for people to compost. That is like, I mean, it's poop work, and it's poop work that we need. Thank you. it's absolutely beautiful. And anyone who's building community and helping bring all these wonderful minds and hearts together. Yeah, on the other side of COVID, we have an opportunity to emerge back into the world the way we want to, together. So thanks.
Yes.
Thank you for being you and for doing it in community.
Thank you all. Yes, Malou. Ditto, ditto, ditto. All right. I think that's a wrap. I'll hopefully see you all January 3rd or before then, and stay tuned for details. Thank you, Scotty. Thank you all. Much love. I'll see you soon.
Yeah, love you.
Love you. Mwah. Bye, guys.
Bye.